Hey guys, what's up? We just got a ban list, so I want to do my first take on a tier list for the meta coming up after the ban list, which goes into effect in about 2 hours from the time I'm recording this video. So December 9th is when we're going to actually get some of that, get some of the new format going on. So essentially, the biggest hits were original Sinful Spoils down to 0. And we had two 10-pie hits. We had a Phantom of Yugioh going to 1, but getting gates, opening the spirit gates back. And yeah, everything else is pretty kind of just random, right? So let's take a look at the meta, and we're going to take a look at what decks I think are going to be at the top tier and which ones are kind of just whatever at this point, right? So let's go ahead and start. We have some... we have these decks in alphabetical order here, so we're going to just start from the top and work our way down. And if you want to just skip to the end and see what the tier list is, go right ahead. But I really want to talk a little bit about each of these. Also, if you're here and not subscribed, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel so I can grow it a bit and then reach a few more viewers a little bit easier. It would go a long way to click the subscribe button. All right, let's go ahead and start. We have Centurion first. Centurion... I don't think saw like any representation in YCS Anaheim. That doesn't mean to say that it's a bad deck or anything. I just think that everything else is a little bit better. So I'm gonna put this in solid. I still think it is good. Like playing a lot of hand traps, playing around Charmies is really good. Being able to play Bistials is solid. But yeah, I think it goes in solid, probably towards the bottom of solid as we fill this out. Next one is going to be Chimera. I kind of like Chimera. I haven't been able to test it at all against Ryzeal or Maliss yet, but I feel like you can pretty well dodge a lot of the stuff that they're going to throw at you. It plays through hand traps fairly well. I don't know. It might be Rogue. Maybe I'm just on some copium here. Yeah, we'll probably put it in Rogue for now. Despia. Okay, so Despia got nothing back. It lost Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. It was already honestly Tradebinder status with Branded Fusion at 1, with the Charmies out, with Impulse out. It's still Tradebinder status. It lost its auto win con. You're gonna have to fight a lot harder for your wins. I don't think that it's very good at the moment. It's not even Rogue tier, unfortunately. There's probably going to be a lot of haters in the comments about that, but gotta face the facts. Nobody's playing Despia right now, and yeah, that's where it is. Dragon Link is next. I don't know. It didn't get any changes on the list, like the Dragon Rulers came back. That doesn't matter. I think Dragon Link is Rogue. I think it was Rogue last format, still Rogue. Matchup into, like, if you want to play Bistials, just play Centurion. Like, the matchup into, like, Ryzeal and Maliss is just not going to be good. Yeah, I think it's Rogue. Cash Fiend Smith. Okay, so we have Cash Fiend Smith and Musket Fiend Smith both on this list. I think I'm going to put Cash Fiend Smith here in solid, and we're going to actually put Musket Fiend Smith up in best decks. Musket Fiend Smith is good because it can just play all the non-engine in the world, and, you know, we can craft it to whatever the meta is. Cash Fiend Smith it's similar. I don't know, like, between which one is where, whatever, but, you know, Musket won YCS Bologna. Joshua Schmidt, like, did super well in Swiss with the Musket one at YCS Anaheim, so, and that was against mostly Ryzeal and Maliss opponents, so I think it's in the top tier of decks. Okay, Fire King now. We lost Original, so that's pretty tough. I think Fire King... Oh, man. I don't... See, I'm going to have a hard time knowing what to do with these Fire decks now. Let me talk about Snake Eye at the same time. Pure Snake Eye. Oh, jeez. Like, losing Original loses you 6 starters. 7, I guess, if you count Original. With 3 Black Witch, 3... Yeah, I want to say this is Tradebinder. Like, why would you play Fiend Smith Snake Eye at this point instead of Fiend Smith Musket? right? I guess Snake, I'm going to put in a Rogue. Like, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm not going to give up on it, right? The Snake Eye cards are so good. And someone's going to come up with shit, you know? They gotta. Fire King, I'm just going to give the benefit of the doubt, put it in Rogue too. I think Fire King, because it's its own engine and can do a lot of stuff, is still going to be okay, but we'll see. We're going to leave him in Rogue for now, give a little benefit of the doubt. Fluonderies, Trade Binder. It's been Trade Binder for a couple formats now. No argument really against that. Kashtira, I think is in Rogue. It's never really below Rogue. I think it's still solid. Like, it's a shifter deck. Can play a ton of non-engine, and it can play board breakers or hand traps, whichever version you want. Nightmare Unicorn is a good card. I mean, Kashtira Unicorn is a good card, so yeah, we're going to go with Rogue here. Lab, it's also Rogue. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen results out of Lab. I feel like it gets kind of cooked by Ryzeal, like by a Detonator. It's going to be pretty hard to out that. So, yeah, just like, it'll just keep popping in your trap cards, right? Like, what are you going to do to that? I don't know. And then Maliss. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand the intricacies of the matchup of Labyrinth and Ryzeal and Maliss, which are going to be up in the top. We're going to see in a second, but yeah, I think Lab is Rogue still. Maliss I'm going to put up in best decks. I really do think it's up there. I don't think it's solved yet, or I don't know what a good word to say is, but Ryzeal took a lot of the top slots at YCS Anaheim in the first eventful Ryzeal and Maliss, but I feel like more people were on Ryzeal. It had bigger representation. It's a lot easier to play when you only have one weekend to actually learn it with the cards, but I feel like as we go, Maliss will get more and more popular, and people will get better at it, and will think of cool stuff to do with it. So we're going to put Maliss there. Melodious is Trade Binder, unfortunately. Like, there's Melodious Ryzeal, okay. That deck is good not because of the Melodious cards. It's good because of the Ryzeal cards, right? I'm talking pure Melodious here. Trade Binder. It's just not doing anything. It loses to every Charmy, loses to Shifter, loses to D-Barrier, loses to everything that people are already siding for every other deck, so it's just not in a good spot. Memento we're going to put in solid. I think it's always been solid, and it's just not represented very well. There's not a lot of people playing this deck, but I do think it's really good. So we're going to put it here. Mermail. I'm going to show a little bias here, and I'm going to put this one at the bottom of solid also. It didn't get affected by the ban list into any deck. The first turn board that Mermail puts up is FTK. Like, even the new decks, whatever. It does lose to Shifter, unfortunately, and Fuelos hits really hard. But, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll put it here. You could argue that it's in Rogue, sure, but I think it's better than these decks in Rogue, right? It's got to be better than those, so we're going to put it in solid. Millennium is going to be, like, at the top of Rogue. It's, you know, that Shifter, the turn one Ankh, make the Exodia Fusion thing. It's okay. Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about it, but whatever. Okay, next one is Orcust. There was the big hit of Bologna with the Horus Orcust deck. That was pretty cool. It got top 8 at YCS, like last format. But nobody's playing this, right? I think it's kind of gimmicky, and I don't think it's very good. So, bottom of Rogue, I guess? Like, it did top the YCS, so I can't argue with that, but we're going to put it here. It's better than Melodious or Despia or Flu, so it doesn't deserve to be in the Trade Binder row, but yeah. Pearly, Trade Binder, maybe? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of playing into a Detonator. You're just going to lose. You cannot play through a Detonator, right? Because he just pops your cats instantly and you can do nothing. Pops your My Friend, you can do nothing. Maliss is going to be pretty tough because it has the banishes like the DD Crow guy. So that's, yeah, I don't think Pearly's playable. Okay, Rescue Ace now. Rescue Ace lost original, but it gained to Airlifter. I think it's the best fire deck remaining of Snake Eyes and Fire King, just because it basically has its full engine available to it. Its full fire engine, if you will. I think it could still be good. I might give it a little benefit of the doubt there too. Biased because I like Rescue Ace, but we're going to put it here. Rika. Rogue, I guess. Yeah, nobody's playing that deck, so whatever. Ritual Beast. This deck has really fallen off, man. I don't know if it's just representation because a lot of the Ritual Beast players are now playing Maliss, or if it's something else. Protoss is good. Colossus is good. I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm going to put this in Rogue too. Or maybe it's in Solid. I'll put it in Solid. I'll throw the Ritual Beast players a bone a little bit. We'll put it in Solid here. Runic Stun is Trade Binder status. Like, it's just not good. Yeah. Okay, Ryziel, the elephant in the room, it goes into best decks, probably at the top here. Until we start seeing Maliss take over, I think Ryziel's the best deck. It's relatively easy. And it's just so strong. So we're going to put it there. Okay, Sprite time. Sprite, I think, is near the top of Rogue. It's around the level of, like, Chimera and Dragon Link. It's not at the level of, like, Centurion, Cash Fiend Smith, Memento. Like, it's just not there, right? You can't really argue with that too much. But I think Sprite's an interesting deck to keep an eye out for. People have, like, forgotten about that deck. And I don't know how its matchup is into Ryziel or Maliss, so could be interesting. But it does play through the low impact hand traps pretty well, so it might have an okay like Musket Fiend Smith matchup, but we'll see. Tierlist, Rogue, it's like down here. Can't really play Tier that well anymore. I don't think it's that good. I think people are still on Super Copium with that deck, so we're going to put it down there. Tenpai now with 1 Chandra, 1 Kaiman, and 1 Summoning. Where is Tenpai? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I think it's Trade Binder, right? Maybe Rogue. Okay, because let's think about this now. What are its starters? Its starters are 3 Genroku, 3 Pydra, 1 Field Spell, 1 Terraforming, 1 probably now Set Rotation, 1 Kaiman, so that's 10. And then we can play Dora or whatever that card is, right? Dora Draco or whatever that is. That might be like now necessary. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's just lacking in consistency a bit. But it can still just OTK with 1 Chandra, right? But maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think about how bad having only 1 Chandra is. Like, it's going to lose a lot of consistency. It's going to lose to hand traps more. For sure. I don't know. I think it's still Rogue. It's around the level of these other fire decks now. Voiceless. Rogue as well. It's around Kashtira level, I guess. Like, then there's Voiceless Ryziel and stuff like that. That's different. That's Ryziel. Whitewoods. Whether it's Runic or Pure is Rogue as well. It's pretty darn bad into the top decks right now. Right now, I'm going to have to put it in the top of Trade Binder, I think. Maybe once the new set comes out with the new Whitewoods cards, the new Whitewoods Azamina, Elzet, or whatever, we can bump this up. But for right now, it's tough, man. I don't see this deck doing much of anything. So I'm going to have to put it down here. Yeah, It's probably around the same level. To be fair, it's probably around the same level as like Tier, Rika, and Orcus, like at the bottom of Rogue. So we could do that if you want, sure. But it's not a really big deal. Oh, you guys can't even see that anymore. Whatever. It's over here. I put it in Rogue. Let me zoom out. Okay, and the last deck is Yubel. Yubel, I believe, is gonna... It's here. I really do think so. It's got one Phantom, but it's got back 3 gates. It's got every starter. The whole main deck is full power. So I think there's a lot here. And I think Yubel is one of the best decks at playing through hand traps. I think it is one of the strongest decks in the game. So I think I'm pretty happy with this tier list. If there's decks that are not on this list that you want to know where they rank, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those. But other than that, let me know where you think I am dead wrong. Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid tier list. The biggest question marks I have are the bottom of solid, like Mermail, Rescue Ace, and Ritual Beast. They could be moved down to Rogue. Yeah, sure. But I think this format is kind of top heavy with those 4 decks there. And yeah, besides that, we'll see how it goes. Ryziel is king of the pack right now. Maliss not far behind. Musket Fiend Smith is also strong. The deck that I'm probably going to be playing is Musket Fiend Smith, because I'm not intending to buy Ryziel or Maliss, and I already have the Fiend Smith cards, so easy choice. Might play Cash Fiend Smith as well, or instead, or whatever. And then if I have a chance to pick up re-pick up Yubel again, I sold Yubel or traded it or whatever, but I might look to pick that back up because I kind of like how that deck is looking right now. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Leave a like, sub to the channel if you enjoyed, and with that, we'll catch you in the next one. We'll see you soon.